Hello and welcome to Lazy Cinema, and today we'll talk about the little things here on Lazy Universe Rapid Reviews. The little things starred Denzel Washington as the detective Joe Deacon, or Deke for short, a disgruntled old cop who wants to be back on a job to solve a case regarding women going missing, and no one ends up knowing what happened to the bodies. He's met by a detective sergeant, Jim Beckett, played by Rami Malek, and they both equally don't like each other, at least at first, until the case ends up actually going somewhere. But the thing is, before I get more into the movie, I want to quote that Malik and Denzel Washington really have a good chemistry in this movie. It's easy to see that both actors respect one another and respect where they both came from and their careers as an actor, especially with Rami Malek coming into acting career with Bohemian Rhapsody 2 years before this movie came out. And Denzel Washington, well, we all know where Denzel came from. He's just a big actor in this whole league. But the funny thing is, the combination that they just give off of each other is really quite brilliant, and especially for Denzel Washington playing a disgruntled old cop, while Marvin Malek plays the newcomer that's up and running, is very good. Frickin' hell, even Jared Leto as Armand gives a frickin' good performance, especially one that would probably even rival Mark Hamill's Joker because it's just that good and yeah, I'll be frank, he does actually act a little bit like the Joker in this, including some of his dialogue seeming very Joker-esque, something like Heath Ledger or Mark Hamill as did previously. But the movie isn't good. It's trying to be a crime suspense thriller slash drama, but it does it poorly. I mean, two officers wanting to solve a case, that's nothing new for movies. I mean, that's been done before, but it just feels so poor. I mean, especially with John Lee Hancock writing it, he's trying to give you a good mystery story, but compared to some other mysteries that are famous in movie history, this is not one of them. If you compare this film to something like To Kill a Mockingbird, Philadelphia, and even A Few Good Men, this does not even compare to the other three. I will give the actors credit though, they are all stupendous in this movie, every single one of them, and you can tell they're really giving the role all that they can, especially Rami Malek, coming into this playing the role as serious as he can, while Jared Leto just seems to be having fun with the role, maybe coming off of a good hiatus from last week being in the Suicide Squad and now being in Morbius. That might explain a little bit of it. But the one person that kinda doesn't feel right for this movie is Denzel Washington. Now, hear me out. I like Denzel Washington as much as the next guy or gal. But his thing is, his performance in this just feels like he's not having fun with it. Mostly seems bored, like he just wants to be elsewhere, or the fact that maybe he didn't want to be in this movie to begin with, which honestly wouldn't surprise me. But when he's on screen with Rami Malek, he seems to be given more of a crap. But alone? Yeah, he kinda doesn't care like he's in this movie. But this is not a good movie, as I pointed out. Especially written by John Lee Hancock, this movie feels just really padded out and a little bit rushed. I know that this came out during 2020, so maybe that's the reason. Maybe having a lot of scenes that just had to be padded out for good reasons. But it doesn't feel as sincere as it should. I wanted to be invested in the characters, but there's nothing to be invested in with them. Rami Malek just being a family man and a new cop that comes on a job, while, as I said, Denzel Washington plays a disgruntled old cop, and Jared Leto tries to do his best in playing the psychopath. If you want a good cop and drama story, or even something that could measure up to some of Denzel Washington's other performances, I'm sorry to say, you won't find it here. It's not even that good. If you're looking for a good Rami Malek film, hell yeah, this is one to watch. Or if you're looking for something new with Jared Leto aside from Morbius, this is honestly a good film to check out too. But as a whole, this movie really does fucking suck, I'm sorry to say. Especially during the piss poor ending that they give the movie. I mean, my god, it was a freaking accident to begin with, but the movie plays it out like it's a very serious and major catastrophe that ends up happening without spoiling it, and it even ends on a cliffhanger that just ends up going nowhere. But there's one more thing that needs to be addressed with this movie, and it's kinda painful to talk about. Religious symbolism. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard me correct. This is a movie that had to do with religious symbolism. Although I don't see why, considering it came out from Canadian Home Video and distributed by Warner Brothers. But there's a lot of symbolism in this, like talking about God, talking about angels, talking about the devil, and including having a giant cross that just appears and reappears in this film out of nowhere, which kind of doesn't feel necessary for a movie like this. Maybe they're trying to say that Denzel Washington's God, Lee's an angel, and Jared Leto's the devil. I could kind of see happening, but that's not the point. Again, this movie is just really fucking piss poor in my opinion, really bad story, character development, and kind of a nowhere plot. But if you're willing to sit through it for grand performances from Rami Malek, Denzel Washington, and Jared Leto both, I'd check it out if I were you, even if you're just a little bit more curiously. But as a cop drama or crime drama, or even just a thriller, this movie is just bad, and my opinion on it is that this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, including with Jared Leto, Rami Malek, and Denzel Washington. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time on the next Lazy Cinema.